Today's guest is my old teammate, Andrew Irwin.
All goes back to my dad racing. He has won more short circuit races in Ireland than anybody else. I came home from school and I ran my PW50. I've loved motorbikes from the moment I set my eyes or got my first ride on one. Dad, I want a short circuit bike. And he was like, you're too immature. But I had a bigger set of balls.
But so your bike set the fire to the awning and you got sacked because it was your bike and you weren't present.
My dad used to call them the Three Musketeers from Crumlin. And Joe was one of them, and they had this 1991 Honda 125. Wow, that's because he was like an idol. Like the Dunlops are idols. It's a massive thing in Northern Ireland. So 2012, I won the Irish and Ulster Super Twin Championship.
Yeah. I open you up.
Yeah, you.
And this is Andy.
And I remember seeing the bike just go bum bum. Bum.
Don't bounce anymore.
He gave me the fingers in the next race.
Oh, that's the famous fingers.
Yeah. I went to the Frog and I passed him in the last lap. That's bloody good. That.
Boom, boom. Danny Bucket. What a ride this is, and it is on.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Pushing the Limit podcast with me, Danny Buchan. Today's guest is my old teammate, Andrew Irwin. I'm going to call you Andrew because Andy's a bit
chavvy.
Common.
Yeah.
But we're here at Alton Park today, mate. We've got the boys out of London. Obviously, you're in your team gear, ready to rock and roll. How's your day been? We'll start with the day before we rewind it all back.
Today, 13th definitely doesn't sound great.
It's an unlucky number as well.
I've been
Not for some.
Do you want me to tell you? At Silverstone, I really struggled with 13, and now I've been trying to get rid of that thought. And I don't care.
And I've just replanted it.
And I look at the thing and I see 13, and now I think I'm going to turn that into a good thing. But I'll tell you why. I got engaged on the 13th of February to try to overcome it.
And it worked.
And well, I'm still engaged.
Mate, I swear to God, this is not a joke yet. At Snetton last year, you'd have known this anyway. I had a good Friday. Do you remember? I had a really good Friday. Yeah. And Saturday, I literally woke up in the morning, all happy, went from hospitality, had breakfast, blah, blah, blah. Went to the garage. Literally, I remember it vividly. I walked out the garage and I turned around and leant on the metal and looked at the garage and I saw the 13. I was like, shit, I'm garage 13. And mate, it literally, from qualifying, it just went completely downhill to the end of the week. But then Brands Hatch at the end of the year, I was garage 13 and you was 14. And Brands Hatch was good.
Probably the best weekend we had as teammates, actually.
Yeah, that was a good weekend, wasn't it? That was because you was off.
Yeah.
You was so happy to be leaving me.
I just got a good contract, to be fair. I had absolutely nothing to worry about. I knew that I was going to live the dream for another year and was able to enjoy it, actually. But yes, today, 13th, doesn't sound great, but my best lap was 36.0, which isn't great around here, but in comparison, I think the leader's done 35.1, or the fastest was 35.1, and I did 36.1 on lap 16 of the tire, so the consistency's there, and I didn't put a tire in or anything to time attack, and we also didn't do the test, so that's my excuse for being 13th.
It's quite a strong, but it's quite, to not have that in your back pocket, the confidence in it, because you know that if you put the brand new X in and go for a lap, and after coming around here, you obviously didn't do the test day, so when you come back to this track, it's such an eye-opener, isn't it? Where they've had 2 days here testing, or a day because of the weather. Yeah. It's a mad track, isn't it? But mate, 36 is still 10 years ago, it'd have been quick.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day, Superstock's faster than that.
How's it getting back on an X from the zero?
I didn't even think about it, to be honest, which is good. Normally I do think about it, but here I didn't. But the biggest thing today actually was we just had a debrief with the team before I came around here, and the biggest change is that I'm so used to the BMW after riding it for a couple of years, and you're preempting the bike to do certain things, and not just because I ride a Honda now, but honestly, it feels really good, and you can tell why Glenn was able to do a 33.7 here in the race last year. So I think we've got good potential.
Yes, you're excited.
I'm very excited.
Now let's rewind it back then. So the motorbike, obviously, it's in the Irwin blood, isn't it? Did your granddad race? I know your dad obviously raced. Did your granddad race? Did he get it from that?
Don't think so. My granddad was very against my dad racing at the time, and so yeah, all goes back to my dad racing. He has won more short circuit races in Ireland than anybody else, and really, I'm the fourth youngest boy. I have a little sister, so it's a family of 5 kids, and my eldest brother Ross started riding motocross, and then Glenn started riding motocross, and then Graham started riding motocross. And the way I describe it is if your brothers are playing football, you'll go outside and kick the football. If they're doing rugby, you'll do rugby. Yeah. And we were quite fortunate that we had a motocross track at our house, and I came home from school and I ran my PW50. I then went on to ride 50cc motocross bikes and went through motocross, and it was just completely natural. It never felt like I was being forced to do it. I'm really lucky to say that I've got parents that didn't push me whatsoever, and they knew I wasn't going to be an A-level student. And
reverse psychology.
Yeah, exactly. So
don't ride that PW50.
I'm
going to ride that PW50. Yeah.
I even remember like a little childhood memory. Like the girl down the road used to go to nursery school with me. And instead of like, say she was late, my dad was like, yeah, take your PB. And me going to put my helmet on as if he was going to let me drive like 3 or 4 miles down the road on my PB. But I would have done it. I've loved motorbikes from the moment I like set my eyes or got my first ride on one. And it's I've lived the dream really of it. I just love motorbikes. I'm so passionate about them. And it's not just riding them. Like I watch MotoGP every single session, World Superbike, World Endurance.
Yeah, you literally know everything that's going on with everything with racing.
Yeah, like I just watched like the 3-hour endurance from No Limits to Cadwell Park for 3 hours. And I sat and thought, I just wasted 3 hours.
Did you watch Moto America the weekend?
I watched Xavi Fortes do the double.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Ex-teammate as well.
Shout out Xavi,
and from 2019. So I watched that. But to be absolutely honest, America I don't follow just as much.
Time zones. Did you get hand-me-downs? Did you go out and get your old brother's kits and stuff? Because
Absolutely.
mate, that's expensive, isn't it, for your old man to be doing that?
Absolutely everything I had. So I started racing, like I'm just going to say professionally, but I started racing actually in 2001. But I was riding from I was 3. So whenever you turn 6, I think it's the same in England. You can start racing. So everything I had was hand-me-downs. Like not even just from my brothers. I think all their parents like probably felt sorry because I don't come from like people think because like me and Glenn have came to BSB and Graham had a really successful motocross career. They think that we come from wealth, that my mum and dad just put loads of money in. We've just been super fortunate to get really good sponsors. But at that time, like say throw back to 2001, people definitely seen like this crappy van we would have arrived in and wheeled the bikes out. The bikes definitely never had graphics on them, never looked good, but they're always decent bikes.
And you was fast.
And we were fast, and people would give us like their old kit and whatever. And you know, at that time, you know, even now, I think it's awesome.
Man, they're the best years, aren't they? I used to go in this, we used to have this shitty LDV yellow van. It was like this big square thing. And then we used to have a tent, like a 3-man tent off the side. So we'd have like the bike in the 3-man tent and we'd sleep in the other bit of it. The van would be like where we'd make tea and coffee. But they're like literally the best years, aren't they? Like now you're staying in an RV, you've got like nice motorhome, you live comfortably. Do you know what I mean? All that. It's proper funny, but like, at the time, it's a graft. It's not even a graft.
You don't
enjoy
enjoy
it fun,
any more now than what you did then.
It's more pressure now, isn't it, to perform?
Exactly. And like when you think back, sometimes you're having like difficult moments, like say now, but not now, but like say you have a difficult moment, like last year I had difficult periods, whatever. But then you think, how fun was it whenever I done it? It's so simple. And even now, it's like you think back to that, just enjoy it and love it. You know, like you're sleeping in a van, like probably me and my 3 brothers. You know, like
I know, just top and tail. Yeah, exactly.
They have this bit at the back. You know, like all the bikes are like in here, and then this is a bed on top of them.
I know.
And 4 of us lying. Like you think back now, how did we do it? But like 4 kids. You know, if I was 6, my eldest brother was 12. You know, 4 of us just rammed in. My mum and dad probably lying at the front.
It's mega though, isn't it? Yeah, it's literally like the best memories.
Yeah, it's especially when you think back of it now, sometimes you catch yourself on, but it was just tremendous. I absolutely loved it.
You'll find that with Ezra, like when he gets a bit older, you'll say like, oh, should we go camping? Like Maya now is like, oh, should we go camping in a tent? Yes, like, come on. And it's like, but you think like the most simplest things to a kid are like the best things, aren't they? Yeah. And I've got to ask you this question. So with motocross, Simon Reed, who was quicker? So basically, Andy used to race with Simon, who's Simon racing Superstock now. And I heard some stories recently. They were talking. And he said you two just were like a magnet. You just seemed to find each other every race. And just hit each other all the time.
Honestly, Simon was more talented than me at motocross. And I can openly say that. But I had a bigger set of balls. And I would do absolutely everything to win. But he did beat me in the championship. But he definitely a better bike than me.
So
but do you whenever you watch like Ken Roxon, beautiful style, you know, naturally could ride a motocross bike. Simon had like the elbows up, done everything like that. I was like an elastic band just hanging off the back of it, elbows down, sideways. You're like I'd hit anything.
That's
like
my style.
If my brother said to me, Andrew, you could hit that, I'd hit it. Do you know, like I didn't care. I was just probably stupid, but a bit like now, really. Do you know, I'd give anything a go. And so to answer that question, I'm faster than him in motocross bike now because he's lost all talent for some reason.
And he broke his leg last year quite bad.
He did, yes.
So he actually can't ride at the minute.
But 100%, he whenever we were younger, like 2005, I came second in the Ulster and Irish Championship, and he won them. So he was better than me, but I was pretty gutsy.
It's mad, don't it? Like the whole motocross journey, because and then you made the switch, I made the switch, other people made the switch. It's mad, isn't it? Like why didn't your brother ever do it? Did he not fancy the roads?
Honestly,
Obviously your brother had a really successful motocross career, didn't he?
I think me and Glenn knew we weren't going to make a living riding motocross bikes.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't good enough. Like maybe Irish Championship level, you could have been decent, but we were never going to go on to win British Championships.
Yeah.
And Graham left home at 15, was winning British Youth Motocross Championships or whatever, or one, I think the MXY2 it was called, that ran alongside like the ACU British Motocross, I think. And so he knew that he had a career, and probably, I would say now he maybe thinks back, he could have made a hell of a lot more money being a British superbike rider than he would have been a British motocross rider.
Less
but
injuries.
Exactly, less injuries.
As I sit here injured.
Yeah, and you're not on the bike every day, and you know, like, you can have a bit of a life being a superbike rider, I think. Whereas when you're doing like full time motocross, you got to ride the bike near enough every day. So yeah, that I would say me and Glenn done it because we knew we weren't going to be motocross riders.
When was your first time on the tarmac then? Because obviously I know that your career started in Superstock here, and you've gradually gone through, haven't you? Like Superstock, Supersport. Where did it start back home? What was the track? What was your Bishop's Court or Kirkstown?
No, Kirkstown. The early May 2008.
Yeah.
And on track that day. So I was 13, but do you know when you get 13-year-olds and they're like mature 13-year-olds, they're balls of jobs, and they talk properly.
Go on, mate.
I was like, all right, man, what's happening? Hello, man. So I was a really tiny, small, immature 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And I had a bad weekend on the Saturday in the motocross bike. And, one of them days just didn't work. And I'd actually been quite bad, not badly, I'd broken vertebrae in 2007 whenever I was like 12. So say quite a bad injury at that time. And I said to my dad, or started riding the motocross bike then in 2008. It was getting on really good. And then I had a massive crash at a Guy Philip McCulloch's track when Graham had signed for him. And there was like a double and I just messed up. And then I kept riding, but I actually think I'd got hurt, but was like scared to tell my dad I got hurt. And I was riding crap. And I remember leaving the track. It was like just in the Donegal. Can't remember the name of it. And I thought, I'm done with this. I want to try short circuits, or I'm done. I need a break. Or it's the first time in my life that it's ever happened. So leaving the track, I says, Dad, I need a break. Didn't say I wanted to quit. I says, I need a break. Went and watched Glenn and Mandello the next day, because Glenn had started like pretty much 1 year earlier than me. He started. So he started when he was 18. I started when I was 13. And I went to Mandello, and Glenn goes, why do you not try this? And it was like one of them moments I thought, yeah, why don't I try this? So I went to my dad and says, Dad, I want a short circuit bike. And he was like, you're too immature. And he used to, even now I still think about it. And he's like, just drop your knee slider. Even now I still think about it. Like, whenever like he was out with his friends or something, I would have just been so immature. I was like, I know I embarrassed that man so much. But so then he goes, no, you're too immature. And we went to Sainsbury's. I was going to Spain. I'd never been to Spain or anything before. And I was going to Spain on holiday. And we were going to Sainsbury's. So I needed a passport. Going to Sainsbury's at the post office. Do you like inside Sainsbury's? Don't know if you have one here, but that's the way it is in Northern Ireland. To the post office to get passport applications. I have a really good long-term memory. And so I went down with him. He probably had a plan of why I was going down with him. And I said, Dad, can I have a short circuit bike? And he goes, there's a guy that'll give you one. His name's Joe. I can't remember his surname. My dad used to call him the Three Musketeers from Crumlin. And Joe was one of them. And they had this 1991 Honda 125. And he said he'd give me it.
Like a little race bike.
Like
a proper race bike.
Yeah, like a 125 GP bike.
GP bike.
Yeah. So he said he'd give me it. But my dad was definitely really worried for me. And he sat me down in the car. And he goes, Andrew, I'll let you ride it as long as you promise you'll never do road racing. He's probably thinking, if this really immature kid goes road racing at 18, he's never going to last.
He's done, yeah.
I still think I wouldn't last now, and I'm 28. And that was the start of it. Yeah. So I actually didn't ride one of the Three Musketeers, Joe's bike, for the first time. I read one of Glenn's. He had two. He didn't own them, but the sponsor probably didn't even know I was riding it. So I went to Kirkstown this time, and Robert Dunlop was on track. I think Michael, Sam Dunlop, which would be like a cousin of Michael. Yeah. William was on track. They were all doing this. It was a Wednesday, and say the Northwest was the following week. So everybody was on track. Yeah. And
shaking down as such.
Yeah. So Robert Dunlop actually get killed like maybe 10 days later. And it's one of them memories. I just remember him passing me on a 250 Honda. and me being like, wow, because he was like an idol, like the
Yeah,
Dunlops are
yeah,
idols,
yeah.
it's a massive thing in Northern Ireland. And it went from there.
That's mad, isn't it? And then obviously you come over to here eventually, because Glenn come over to here. He was done the Super Sport, didn't he, over there? Did he win it? And then
He
come over to
won
here?
Irish Super Sport in 2009 and 2010.
Yeah, and then come
I
here,
think.
yeah.
And then he came
He
to
won the
England in
wild card
2011.
with me.
Yes,
Because
he did.
Kawasaki were like, everyone was like, oh, Kawasaki have brought him in to help Danny win the championship that year. And because he qualified third, I qualified pole, and we was in. And
Stock
my
6.
bike broke, in stock 6. Yeah,
That's when I first found TSL timing and became addicted to it ever
Don't seem
since.
how long ago, does it? And then obviously from then you just progressed on, because you obviously raced Mason in Super Sport with Gearlink.
Yeah, so it's a mad career. Like, I think back of it now. So I was crap in a 125, horrendous. Quite good when I started, but then I started to get a wee bit tubby. Had no interest in, like, I just went racing. I had no interest in making a career, like absolutely none. Even
Did you
like
care about winning though then, or was you not that bothered?
No, I was just there, there for
That's so random.
and I got
Just there for the crack.
like a Suzuki Super Twin in 2011, and so I'd like done half of 2008.
things.
Yeah, 2009 was pretty rubbish. Had one good race, I think, came second at the start of 2009, and thought I was a superstar, and then never even came close to like being in the top 3. And 2010 was terrible, and I kind of thought, oh, whatever, take it or leave it. Enjoyed riding, but it wasn't like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So then 2011 got this Super Twin. Aquarius Couriers have been on my visor for up until this year, actually, and guy Charlie Young bought me this Super Twin. He actually bought me half a Super Twin and a Honda.
Front half or the back half?
Well, my dad owned half of it, but then I went testing or practicing, I would call it then. Definitely wasn't testing. And my Super Twin, it was standard. It was pretty shit.
Yeah,
is the only way to describe it.
Sorry, Charlie, but it was a shit bike.
And Charlie knows that.
Yeah.
And I think I came second in the championship, and that's when, I started to win, and I thought, I quite
like this
know
now.
what I'm doing now. And
the old 650 pulling your fat ass around there.
and in the middle of 2011, I actually got like a quick shifter and like an upgraded engine. Definitely was nothing like a Farquhar bike or anything, but I used to battle with them. Like, I would have took it to them, and I remember my bike being like 81 horsepower, and everyone talking about like being 90 something. I was like, yeah, but mine's mint. Do you know, like mine's Suzuki Super Twin.
I love
awesome.
it. Yeah,
the fairings probably weighed about 10 kilograms the way it was fixed so much. And so 2012, I won the Irish and Ulster Super Twin Championship, which for me I was like, oh, mega.
I'm happy with that.
Still didn't train. I think I'd maybe just discovered partying, going out with my mates, probably racing on Saturday, going into Belfast on Thursday night, not thinking about Saturday, just having fun. You know, I was there just enjoying racing motorbikes. And then my dad, it was probably my dad, and he's like the most like reserved person. Like, don't do that. Don't rush. Don't rush. And he's like, let's go do stock 600. So I'd signed for a team that didn't even exist to ride an MV Augusta. Probably a bit mad, to be fair, but
was this Big Dave's?
No, it wasn't Big Dave actually, but I ended up riding for Big Dave.
I know you did, yeah.
So 2013, the MET Healthcare is still a long-term sponsor now. They had paid, I think it was $4 or $5 grand to this MV Augusta team. So everything was going right, and then the next minute they're like, "Oh no, Andrew, you haven't got the ride anymore." And I was like, "So what about the money that we've gave to you?" "Oh no, they're just going to sponsor us." So the guy from MET definitely got his money back, and so I didn't start racing 2013 until Knockhill, which was maybe June time.
Yeah,
good to see the Tash truck still has a leak in it. And, so I didn't start
ignore it. Yeah,
start racing until 2013. So literally, I went to the first round at Brands Hatch. And I'm really nervous. Like, even now, like, you'll know I'm not a very out there person. I'm quite reserved. Or like, say, whenever we used to go out and do like, I know something, whenever we went to Cinetic, you're definitely the person talking and I'm listening. But
I open you up.
Yeah, so
and this is Andy.
I went to my next door neighbor, printed this thing out of like, I'm Andrew Irwin. I've done this. I have a bike. So my dad bought me a bike. I think it was actually a guy called John Seawright bought me the bike, who was another long-term sponsor. Sadly passed away actually in the start of this year or the end of last year. But I had an R6, so I'd done this letter out saying, I'm Andrew Irwin. Have you any awning space or something? Because being from Northern Ireland, I had a really small budget and I couldn't afford to like drive back and forth, and also my dad couldn't afford to take the time off work and everything like that. So started giving these letters out to everyone. My dad kept ringing me, have you given them letters out? I'm like, yep. They were still sat in Glenn's camper. I was too scared to hand them out. So Sunday came and I was handing them out, and Dave Tyson took one. And I think he asked Glenn about me then after it. And it literally went from there.
That's well funny, yeah.
So Dave gave me my first opportunity. Everybody knows Dave. Dave's Dave, and he's a good guy. I like him, but
legend.
Legend.
Paddock.
Yeah, one of them people everybody in the paddock knows.
Can't be mad at Dave.
No, you can't. And even if you are, you'll be friends with him the next day.
Like, I love you, Dave.
Just good guy.
Yeah,
Heart's in the right place. I think I'll say that. And so that was Knockhill. But the week before Knockhill, I went and done a Scottish Championship. So I did one day. Glenn was riding for Martry, and I did one day at Kirkeston on the 600. Hadn't raid from say October time. Did that day, and then I went to Knockhill, and my engine started making a noise. So the engine was wrecked. And I was like, we don't have the money to fix it, Andrew. I'm like, great. Somehow gathered a few quid up, got it fixed, and went to Knockhill. And you wouldn't believe it, I actually got took out of the hairpin in the race.
By who?
But Matt Paulo, I think.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
I actually remember
Imagine
that.
somebody taking you out.
I know,
Disgusting.
horrible. We'll get on to that.
But so yeah,
Not intentional though.
No. He lost the front,
yeah.
and I was on the outside of him. I actually didn't. I was probably trying to go around the outside of him.
Definitely.
Or something stupid.
Not
And
motocross.
he took the front, and we both slid out. And yeah, that was my first round at Knockhill. Totaled the bike at Snetterton at the bomb hole, which anyone who doesn't know the bomb hole, it's like third or fourth gear. Pretty fast. You don't want to crash there.
Yeah.
It's like a hole before the penultimate corner at Snetterton. And I remember seeing the bike just go bum 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 bum.
Don't bounce anymore, and it's
And it
just
just kept
folding
going.
itself up. Yeah.
And I thought that's the end of my weekend, the end of my season. And to be fair to my dad, like I think there was actually a guy that had like an R6 bits he was selling. We were able to
just out there,
yeah,
just
but
wheeling,
completely
dealing, mate.
winging
Yeah.
it, wheeling and dealing,
Yeah.
and got the bike and that. And so that was 2013. I think my best position was inside the top 10, maybe 8th or something. Definitely didn't set the world alight. In 2014, I started riding for MWR Kawasaki, which was a guy, Mark Webster, an English guy. But pretty much all I done at MWR was Glenn was riding for Gearlink at the time. Used to ask them for Glenn's settings. Used to give it to what was the crew chief of MWR and say, mate, put in these settings. And Glenn's gear and settings, probably handlebar position, absolutely everything. Just put it in the bike. Done that in 2014, and I got a couple of podiums. Crashed a bit, but got a couple of podiums. Started the season again at MWR in 2015, but I had been on the podium 3 times in a row. It didn't get protested at Brands. This is actually the true story, but didn't get protested at Brands in the middle of the year. But on the dyno, my bike read like 130 horsepower for a stock 600, which should be
at the
illegal.
time would have been super sport, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
135, whatever it would
which
be.
is 100% should be illegal. So then
you're a cheater. That's horrible, mate.
I got on the podium that weekend, and I actually had a good bike.
Yeah.
My bike was fast, but it wasn't illegal. So they stripped it and they confiscated my head. So do you ever get like just a good bike that
No, I've had it before.
I actually bought the bike, I think, off Gumtree, and it was near I have an uncle like in Southampton, which is quite close to Gearlink. My uncle collected the bike, and then Gearlink took it and put that engine then into my bike, and that I must have wrecked an engine somewhere. I can't quite remember.
I had the same for stock 1000. Genuinely,
it was just an awesome bike.
It was mega, and they put an ECU on my bike, and it gave me 1 horsepower less or something.
Yeah.
It was like everything just was mint about it. The tolerances were just mega.
Yeah,
everything was just mega.
It was one of them ones that it came from the factory just good.
Because they do say that there is actually a thing that is like that.
Yeah,
isn't it?
you'll get like a I think even with our engines now, you'll get a tolerance, and you hope you don't have the bad one. And so this is 2015. There was an engine builder in the team who didn't build my engines because I got Gearlink to do absolutely everything. I had so much time for Mike Davidoff and Norman Davidoff. I still have lots of time, especially for my career. I don't think I'd be here without them. Yeah. But anyway, they stripped the engine and they confiscated the head. But the guy who was the engine builder for the team says, yeah, mate, that head's illegal. But he was just jealous because he wasn't building my engine. So he was like, yeah, that's why that engine's strong. But so it ended up being that the dyno that weekend had read funny. Apparently, I don't. Nobody ever told me that. No, you
never know.
Somebody
it's always moving
I don't
about.
know if it definitely is true, but so they confiscated my head. So I ended up having to go and buy another head, and for the rest of the year, my bike wasn't crap, but it definitely wasn't that head that I did have. They did give me the head back, by the way, because it wasn't illegal. Yeah. But they had to, like, I don't know, check it for a week or something.
Had to probably look and send another one there and all that
something
bullshit.
to check over. So in that time, still in like a proper budget doing it, I had to go and find another head, which is probably like $1,000 at the time. And then I went to Thurkson, got the head back, was riding for MWR still.
Slapped the new head on her.
slapped the new head on her, but the gearbox went.
Oh no!
And then mate, the bike went on fire in the awning.
Oh shit!
Yeah, right. And for whatever reason, the team manager sacked me. I got sacked. So, but I owned the bike. The bike was mine. Well, no, it wasn't.
But so your bike set the fire to the awning, and you got sacked because it was your bike and you weren't present.
I maybe like over exaggerating how big the fire was, but it did go on fire.
Yeah,
so I got sacked on like the Friday afternoon.
That's shit.
And I was like, "Whoa, this is." I was like, "I've been on the podium the last 3. It was on the podium at Brands, Knockhill, and maybe somewhere else. Got the Thurks." And I was like, "All right." So, quite a funny story. Long story to get to this story. So I owned the bike, and it was maybe the Saturday actually. The bike had broke down on the Saturday, but anyway, I had qualified or I had to start the back grade. Can't exactly remember. So because they had sacked me on the Saturday, MSVR was like, "No, you can't run your own team because you haven't qualified in that bike." I was like, no, it's my bike. I own it. Like I'm taking the bike. So,
but because it weren't called MWR Kawasaki or whatever you was running, they
exactly.
wouldn't.
They let me because it was my bike. They thought I was like bringing another bike in. Yeah. So I had an on a caravan, like your normal everyday caravan, with an awning on it.
So you run out of that
in the rider's living, right?
Where did you get tire warmers from?
No, the story continues. So had everything like that there, and then I was like, put the bike together, got the bike. Gearlink fixed the bike for me. Glenn was riding for them at the time. Fixed the bike, and Richard Kerr, who's like quite a good stock thousand rider now, Irish fella as well. They let me put the bike, and they're on it. It was actually the closest on to the caravan. It was like woman, Lizzie Bellew, lives near Brands Hatch. I used to stay with her at the races, and so got the bike fixed. Brought it to Richard's on and missed warm up because Thruxton warm up is on a Saturday evening for Stock 600. Don't know if it was like that for you, but it was then. And then I went out to the race. Like, it was me. Like, it was literally just me.
Andrew Irwin, I'm rider, I'm team owner, I'm team manager, I'm mechanic.
And
I'm doing the electronics.
I don't have everything. And Glenn, who is the most handless person that you'll ever meet, and his partner Laura was there as well. So I arrived to the grid at Thruxton for the race,
helping
and it's
Glenn.
Laura and Glenn. I was like, this is so
Glenn,
messed up.
rear panic stand. I don't know how to.
I don't even think I had a stand. I literally arrived. I don't even know if I got a point, but you know what? It's one of them memories that I'll say forever. It was fantastic. It was
funny, yeah.
Just like
the club, like motocross again.
Going back to motocross, you're like, it was so much stress. I can't remember why the bike went on fire in the end, but it never went on fire again. And I ran. So the rest of 2015, after getting, you can call it sacked, whatever, for the bike
P45,
yeah, P45.
Let go.
Andrew, you know, won it.
Just dress it up. You got to let it go.
Yeah.
Andrew, see this team here. There's a lot of people here, but we don't really need you here.
Yeah.
It's okay. So.
You're only a number.
Are you sacking me, mate?
You're gone.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So,
I'm letting you go.
So then this guy called Bob Wiley, he's been at Bob Wiley.
I do know the name, actually.
Sponsored, like Christian Ilkin would be like his rider now. I don't know what age Bob would be. He sponsored Irish riders for a very, very long time, and he lent me a van with an awning. And the other rider from MWR ended up getting sacked, a guy called Card Phillips. I don't know if he got sacked or the team went bust.
This guy was like just sacking people. You're sacked.
I don't know if the team went bust or
Sounds
exactly
dramatic.
what happened, but Carl and me ended up running this Bob Wiley van. We used to put the awning up, and it was just me and him.
That's mega.
I actually had a mechanic that I paid, I think, 80 quid a weekend.
Glenn.
It sounds terrible. Glenn slept in the van, actually. He was security guard for the van. Glenn's first kid was actually conceived in the van.
That is a story.
Silverstone, yeah. But
so Freddie
could have
been called Transit. He could have been called Transit or Ford.
It was an Iveco, even worse.
He could have been called a Vico. Laura, what are we going to call our first baby?
Glenn always tells me that. So that was 2015, and we just won it.
Yeah.
I had a brilliant time, and remember ringing Rob Napoli for looking for a ride. So for the next year, and he gave me a ride, and I never ever paid like money in the team. Not saying I didn't. I always paid the tires, the fuels, the entry, and I'd always been really lucky that that's all I paid.
Yeah,
I think having like a successful brother or a brother that was doing a decent job always made that easier, because
I can do that. What he's doing.
They didn't think, and I never said that I had loads of money. Like the likes of Dave, that's all it was. I think Dave actually paid the fuel somehow.
Definitely didn't.
Dave,
if you're listening, you definitely didn't.
Definitely didn't. And the entries in 2013. I think I actually might got free entries in 2014. Can't remember. But anyway, 2016 signed for Appleyards, and it just didn't click whatsoever. But
I remember you on that bike actually.
didn't train. Still was drinking with my mates. Not like every night. Every like Saturday night, I was definitely
you go out with your mates. Yeah.
Typical like 18-year-old, 19-year-old,
What was you doing in
whatever.
the week working?
Oh, I was a air conditioning engineer. I actually fixed this air conditioning unit at Thruxton.
Could you do it now if you
kind of
needed to as well? Do you still know your shit, or is it like a bit old now because you're a rock star?
I would say I could get back into it. I've got good hands, but
Got tools on you.
Yeah,
Show us now on the podcast.
I gave it a wee service last year. It wasn't just the roof leaking last
that's
year.
why it's leaking.
So that was, and got the Snetterton, and it was going bad. The team probably thought it was going better than what it was, but I thought it was going really bad. And Luke Hedger had fell out with Gearlink, and I really wanted to go to Gearlink because I rid the Gearlink bike at the end of 2015 and got on the podium at the Sunflower, like beat Seeley. Seeley,
Was I there that year?
you would have been there. You're
I was
probably
on the
Harry
stock-
Corbett, probably
yeah,
riding for Harry
yeah.
Corbett. Do you know him?
I didn't ride for Harry Corbett. I run
He's
out
a
of
bit like Dave
Harry
Dyson as
Corbett
well.
sorted me out of space in an awning.
He's the Northern Irish version of
He
Dave
is literally,
Dyson.
yeah. He's like
He
a
lives in my
Del Boy.
village.
Is he? He's like Del Boy.
Yeah. He did have a pizza shop and a
Fly
cafe.
over. I've got somewhere for you to stay. All right, Harry, where am I staying? Just wait there a minute. All right, Harry, for 10 hours later, still waiting. All right, Harry, where am I staying? Yeah, mate, I'm going to get a hotel. I'm not waiting now. That's literally what he did.
never had anywhere for you to stay.
No, he
did
didn't. No, I'll tell you the funny story about that. I've got to tell you this story, though. So my dad goes to me, right, I've got somewhere to stay. Harry sorted it out. So we go over to Northern Ireland in the van, big Jim, Sam Palmer, my mechanic, Ryan, my other mechanic, and then me. And the time's getting on. He's like, look, I've got you a caravan. Like that. So Dad's like, all right. So I said, look, dump your stuff off, Dad. I'm going to go now to just get a hotel because I'm not waiting for Harry to sort this caravan out. I found an Airbnb or whatever it would have been. I'm just going to go and get sorted. He's like, all right, no worries. So he goes, right. So he's got his pillow under his arm. He's got all his stuff. And this man comes into hospitality with this beer and he's like, all right, chaps, you staying in the caravan? He's like, yep. He's like, all right. This chap walks off, goes in, goes, right, come in here then. He goes and sits down. He goes, do you want a beer? It's my dad and Sam. And they go, no, we're all right. Is this the caravan I'm staying in? He's like, yeah. That's going to be your bed over there. I'm sleeping over here like this. Oh, yeah, my dad lost it. So he phones me up, yeah. And I go, you all right there in the caravan? And he goes to me, come on, you've got to come pick me up. I said, what do you mean come pick me up? He goes, come and pick me up. He goes, I need to do the men's wages. I said, you in your caravan with your boyfriend like that? And the worst thing is the guy could hear me saying it. And I was going, go on, you can stay there, mate. He's going, come and pick me up. I need to do the men's wages. And I was going, no, the men's wages are all sorted. Oh, mate, it was so funny. But anyway, I picked him up, got him a room. That was a story. That was a Harry Corbett story. There's probably many more than that.
He's a legend. Harry's just Harry. I see him all the time. Lovely guy. One of them guys, if you ever needed something, he would definitely help you. But yeah, he's a bit like Dave.
But so we need to skip for years because obviously remember the story when I saw you, it's your first superbike ride.
Yes.
Because you've literally had a factory superbike ride every time.
From 2018.
No, you actually have.
Completely won it.
How? You've literally won it for another year.
Yeah, so
because that was the hotel. That was when we was at the airport and we was going to test it at Knock Hill.
And I told you I was
and I
riding
was
a
like,
PBM
what are you
bike.
doing here in your Honda kit, weren't you? You'd flown in
PTR,
from
yeah.
What round had you flown in from?
So to get it real quick, left Appleyard in the middle of 16, went to Gearlink the end of 16, started training and
doing well
started
because you were
17,
Mason.
Came second in the British Super Sport Championship in 2017 behind Keith Farmer, who I always say now I learned so much from.
Yeah.
2018 started the year in World Super Sport. I was pretty not crap. I probably wasn't on the most competitive bike at the time, and I remember just before, Shaky got injured at the Northwest. So, or not in the Northwest, while Glenn was at the Northwest.
Yeah.
And Glenn rang me up one day. He goes, Andrew, you should ring Johnny Moa about the PBM ride. I thought, why would they sign me? You know, just guy that works in a normal
I just
job.
wonder what Glenn does behind the scenes, mate.
It's like, you should ring him. And to be fair, like, he definitely got me the opportunity of a lifetime. I says, no, Glenn, I couldn't ring him. I don't want to ring him. I was scared.
Yeah.
So he kept going on at me because Andy Reid had been offered the ride. And for whatever reason...
You just got dripped on again.
For whatever reason, he didn't or couldn't take the ride. I think it was contractual.
Yeah.
Something to do with
Maybe
that.
Andy would have been here, would he? Would he have been stock thousands?
No, he was riding for EHA on an Aprilia at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he didn't get the ride. or didn't take the ride or couldn't take the
whatever
ride.
happened,
I
yeah.
rang him, and Glenn had told me, "Oh, you might get paid a few quid." As well. I'm thinking, paid a few quid. I'd pay him for my World Super Sport ride.
This is mad.
And this year, so rang Johnny, and he goes, "Yeah, let me speak to Paul and let you know." I said, one of these conversations, Andrew, maybe another time or something, I thought. And he rang me back like 20 minutes later. He goes, "Yeah, you can have the ride." I said, "Can I have a few quid too?" And he goes, "Yeah." I was like, "All my expenses, I'm getting a few quid." And I'd never in my life been paid anything other than, I used to work for peanuts.
And I bumped into
Didn't
you at Gatwick.
care. And so it was I was in Brno, World Super Sport. So in my head, I was like, I need to tell Simon Buckmaster.
Did you know before the weekend that Bruno that you was doing it?
So the whole weekend.
And the Honda thing was a bit shit for you at that point. When the PTR bike, it wasn't going well, was it?
It wasn't going good whatsoever. I got injured at the start of the year and it just hadn't clicked. I wasn't really enjoying. I was driving around in a motorhome without air conditioning in Europe in the middle of summer. Not in the middle of summer, but like May, June.
It's still humid, hot.
Not that fun whatsoever. And
not rock and roll, which people would think.
Yeah,
people
I was working.
Rock and roll.
I used to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, say in Dublin. I'm like 2 hours, so I would have been staying in Dublin. Could have stayed in Dublin the Wednesday night. Would have flew to whatever track I was going to on the Thursday morning, because I left my motorhome at the airport of the next track. Got into my motorhome. Would have driven to the track. Been at the track Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday evening,
drove to
I
say
might have
Germany.
had like 1,500, 2,000 kilometers to drive. Left my motorhome, got back home, got into my work van and went straight to work. It was hectic. So yeah, anyway. So
yeah,
Bruno,
mate, that is shit.
Bruno, I need to say Simon. Simon says no. I thought,
Simon says,
what did I do? Simon said no.
Yeah. Did he
Rang my
say,
dad and
so
said,
he did say no.
Simon said
What do you mean
no.
he said no though?
So anyway, that was maybe probably the Saturday. So straight after.
So you said to him, "All right, Simon, look, I've got this opportunity." He's just like, "No."
He said no, can't do that.
No.
So then on the Sunday, I said, Simon, I've got a flight from Brno to
Stansted, was it? I think it was Stansted.
I think it was, yeah. Brno to Stansted. I'm going to test PBM bike. Is that okay? And he goes, "Doesn't look like I've got any option." So whenever I said it to him, to be absolutely honest, I knew that I was going to do the PBM thing full time. And I said to him, "Oh no, it's just a one-off thing." And he goes, "Okay." So he did let me go.
Like,
and you know, me and Simon have a really good relationship, I would say, even now. And he let me go and do the test on the Monday at Knockhill. So I'd rid 3 days at Brno, had a crap race, didn't even get a point, and then met you in Stansted. And I think I said to you, and you were like, "No, you're not."
I said, "What are you doing?"
You're like, "Full confidence."
I'm flying. I'm going to Knockhill to test the PBM bike. I was like, "What? Shut up! That's mega."
And nobody would have thought of it. Nobody would have thought.
No, the next day you rocked up, didn't you? And everyone was like, "Shit!" Like you were.
It was pretty
you didn't go too bad,
fast
did you?
Yeah. So
2-day test, weren't it?
I think it was,
Was it
one day
day?
test. I think it was
remember,
one day, and then we were straight to Snetterton that weekend. And
that was when you took everyone out on the first lap.
Yeah, that was the start of it. I actually
Hang
wiped
on,
out.
it's not the start of it. All right, you made a mistake. Let's say you overcooked the turn. You got excited. You had Brembo brakes on it. Probably thought you could have got 20 meters later.
I think I braked where I braked in qualifying. You know, like just
with a full tank of fuel.
In like super sport, you could outbrake because I probably thought, "Oh yeah, I'm going to run at the front here."
I'm
not
going
run at
to
the front.
run at the
Say
front.
you've been like the super sport the year before, you'd be, "I'm going to break these donkeys," but nobody in superbikes is donkey.
No,
like
you think I'm going into
like,
it. Yeah,
you just can't. They break, and then you just can't decide. I'll break now. Do you know, like you gotta like.
Because when you first went onto road bikes to being on a superbike, that ain't that many years really. Like considering,
and kind of because of the career that I went quite fast, say from like stuck 600,
and you was on 600s, and then you went straight to 1,000 first
never
time.
read it.
Yeah, exactly.
Never read a superbike whatsoever.
Well,
I did one test in the Gearlink superbike then the 17, but never like say a proper full factory superbike.
Yeah.
So I got on the PBM bike and it just clicked. Do you know, like I think as anyone knows, you know, like if you look now, it's hard to come to superbikes, but I did get on a very, very good package, and Paul and everyone PBM gave me a fantastic opportunity, and one that I'll forever be grateful for, because I always think, what if Shiggy didn't get injured? Do you know, like, I know that sounds terrible.
Would you have got an opportunity a year after?
Yeah, you know, like, what would I have been doing, or where would I been, or what would I have been riding?
Yeah.
So that was 18. I did do a deal with Paul to continue for 2019. So Paul, at Thruxton, I did the fast lap of the weekend. I actually qualified third, I think, because I messed up qualifying. But in Q2, I done a really good lap.
I think I got out on the back of you and Glenn. Did you go on the back of Glenn that year?
Yeah,
was that the year after?
I always followed him.
Because I think I got on the back of you two and had a good qualifying.
Yeah.
I think I was 7th or 6th or
So done a like really good lap, and at that stage I was a young rider starting to show a bit of potential, and there was a little bit of say interest from other places, but to do a deal in BSB at Thruxton, which is like July August time, was a bit unknown. So anyway,
for the next year, that's mad, actually.
Glenn had already signed, not Kill to be honest, he had signed really early, but Glenn was having a good year at the time, or had been at that stage. And done the deal with, but it was a handshake, and
yeah. But Paul's, if a handshake's a hand,
it's not really pretty. Yeah. And I have loads of time for Paul, and I completely understand why the deal didn't end up happening. You know, he went with, it was Josh, who's British champion, and Scott, who come from MotoGP.
Yeah.
You know, when you look back at the results, they were first and second championship. He made the right decision, and it was at Silverstone. I think
he didn't make the right decision. You would have won it.
Hey, one of them.
I would have won it.
I'd be British champion.
Yeah, I'd be British champion. I knew I would have done.
MotoGP man. And so then I started making phone calls, but it sounds stupid. Do you know, like, say now in the past, like I've had difficult seasons, and you think, oh, I might not have a job. I still didn't care.
No,
not that I didn't care, but I was like, no, I was still working full time.
Yeah.
Had no mortgage, no nothing. I was living at home. Thought, what
any money you made,
doesn't really make much difference. No stress whatsoever. So I literally was making my dad. It was probably my dad was like, I know you need to start making some phone calls. So
I remember that having to do that. And I hated
I think
it.
I was in the motorhome, and there was actually talk of Graham maybe coming to ride for Honda in a Superstock 1000 because they just won the British Superstock Championship for Honda, and I think in 2018 maybe 2017 he won the British Championship, but there's maybe talk of him coming back to ride in Stock 1000. Do you know, like a complete career, which he ended up doing, but anyway. So rang Harv, and he's like, I just need to sort out a few things. I'll give you a call. Come fly over and see me. So I flew over and done the deal with Harv at Honda. Went to live.
Yeah, that's mad.
I was dressed up, had a shirt on.
Did you?
All like very
like a proper job interview. Like he's going for an insurance broking job.
I'd never done a job interview in my life. Like when I done refrigeration, it was like they came into the college and like interviewed a few of us, but. Like when you think back now, I got the job because I knew a guy in the place.
And mate, he dropped out.
Yeah. And then I went to work for MET, who's my sponsor. So I'd never done an interview. I was crap myself. And if you know Harvey's quite straight and serious and intimidating, definitely like at that time I was intimidated.
And
I was like,
what about you, mate? I can win.
He was asking me like, what do you plan? And I was thinking, what do I plan? Well, I obviously done a good job winging it.
Win it? Or,
give me the job. And so I raced for Honda in 2019 and 2020. 2019 should have made showdown, won a race at Thruxton, had another podium. That was a good year.
That race was funny because I remember literally lap one. I just remember it so vividly now. We went out through the. You got. I don't know if you was in the lead. I think you might have dropped back to third or maybe fourth. I don't know. There was always mixed group. I remember you coming out of onto the back right hand. I forget what it's bloody called now. And you literally blew smoke lap one. And I was like, he ain't gonna last. I was like, look at you, schoolboy error, mate. Literally last lap of the race, you won it, and you still blew smoke. Because like we were saying, the Honda then just kept going forward, didn't it? It kept driving. You didn't lose.
The older model Honda, or the old model, the Fireblade, it used to spin quite a lot.
It used to keep going.
And it just, for what I think, because Thruxton's a grippy surface.
It never took tyre off.
It went forwards instead of like wrecking the rubber, taking all the rubber off. And it was just
you still had grip when you come off the gas, and it was like,
I think I done my second fastest lap of the race in the last lap.
Because normally you'd think on the way in you're going to start to back in, but it literally just kept. And I was like, yeah, okay, he's doing all right now. 2 laps to go, and then I think at that point you'd gap me anyway. I think I was probably about 6th.
Because I think Scott was maybe second, and then
Josh Hickey was there probably.
Hickey was there. He gave me the fingers in the next race.
Oh, that's the famous fingers. Yeah.
I didn't really do a whole lot wrong. Only give him a wee nudge.
Didn't take him out. Don't know what you take people out.
But so that was 19, and then the new Fireblade came in 2020.
The black one, were you
all
Glen?
Black, and so did the coronavirus.
Oh,
the pandemic. Remember the pandemic a few years
pandemic?
Ago? Don't know. Well, you're an anti-vaxxer anyway, so you would know. We'll not even go there. We kill you that stuff,
Danny.
So I can't go to Spain test, and I got the vaccine. So. That was 19 and 2020. 2020 was a bit of a breakthrough year. I think it showed quite a lot of potential. And honestly, that year, when I think back now, if I just had to calm down a little bit, we should have fought for a championship.
Was that your brother's teammate?
I was my brother's teammate. Yeah. Glenn was my teammate. And then...
How was that genuinely? Because you're like chalk and cheese. I know you're brothers, but you are like Mr. Calm, Mr. Placid. He's bouncing off the walls, full send.
I think it's the same as like me and you were teammates.
It's like
I think
contrast.
that's why it worked.
Yeah.
Do you know, because like I would look at you and you'd be like, oh, excited and happy, and I'd be like,
What's you like? All sad and like, oh, fuck it, this is
and then I'm
shit,
like
I've
this
got to ride again.
depressive. And then
This is shit.
Glenn's
Ride.
like-
God.
But the only thing, Glenn would be not so much now, but then he would have been more of a Jacqueline Hyde.
Yeah.
Whereas you, like, even when things were going bad, you were still
I was like, mate, it is what it is. I'll get
happy,
through it.
hyper, ADHD, whatever you want to call it.
I'll get through it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Whereas Glenn would show more emotion probably than what you would. And no, it was in 2020. It was good, but I kind of thought, I'm Billy Big Balls. I don't want to be my brother's teammate. He steals my limelight or like that probably. And when I think back now, I was immature, stupid, and I like wanted an excuse to leave and came to ride for Philip at Synetic. And you know what, Task Racing, say, whenever it had been like Beacon, Security, everything, it was a team that the only race I used to go to was the Northwest, because, you know, like there wasn't Sunflower
At
maybe,
home
but
as well, yeah.
it was the biggest team, and it was a team you always looked up to. I still look up to Philip in a massive way, because I know how hard it is for him to run the team,
I
how
always
hard it
did
is
as
for him
well.
to run the
Yeah.
budget. And not just saying this, but I really like him. I would say Philip is somebody that I trust and a lot of time for, and I have a normal conversation with him. But yeah, I'm going to go there. It's perfect. And Northern Irish team, Northern Irish riders never won the Bracer White Championship. This is going to be
It's
perfect.
going to be good. Yeah.
It was a bloody disaster. And it
Yeah.
was nothing that the team done. I don't think, not really on my part. The team done nothing wrong.
It was just hard,
It
weren't it?
just
Like,
didn't
yeah.
gel. It, you know, it
But we
didn't
didn't have
work.
the same problems, did we? It was
Yeah,
weird. Like, I had sort of
But if-
okay weekends.
yeah.
You had okay weekends. It was weird, weren't it?
Really
but it weren't.
chalk
Yeah.
and like a chalk and like you'd have a good weekend, I'd have a bad weekend,
Yeah.
and then it would be like chalk and
Yeah.
cheese. You know, it would always like mix it
Did
up.
you learn anything from me?
Yeah, you released the brake, bloody fantastic. And now every corner I go into, I'm like, get off the brake,
Get off
get
the
off the brake.
Run it in. Run it in. Load up the
Even
front.
I don't think I ever spoke to you about it, but so then 2022
Yeah.
was a much better year. Not to go into it, I had a really difficult period in my life in the middle of the year.
Yeah, it was shit for you, weren't it?
It was shit,
It
and
was
that's being
hard.
absolutely honest.
But everyone has that in racing, I think.
Really difficult
Away
period
from
of
the
my
track
life.
was it hard as well?
Away from the track and on track, it was extremely difficult. And you know me, I don't talk a lot
you're an
about it. I don't
introvert.
show.
You're not really-
I don't
yeah.
show emotion a lot,
No.
and it was difficult. But I got over it.
Yeah.
I went to the Frog.
The frog question. I
The
asked Andy
frog.
about this before. Does the
So-
frog touch you? Or does the frog kiss you? Or does the frog put his tongue on you? Or how does it work?
There's a fella in Belfast called Ryan Cardwell.
Because he's on your crash helmet. The frog's on the helmet.
It's on Glenn's.
I know,
helmet,
I've seen
yeah.
it.
So
on
Glenn
many a
had,
helmet.
Glenn had been going on at me. He kept going on and on and on. He goes,
Because Glenn
Not
had
really
a
going on. He
difficult
goes-
period of his life,
yeah,
didn't
Glenn
he?
had a difficult period of his life, and even like in the middle of last year, he was
Which he was,
maybe
he was openly spoken
yeah,
about,
yeah.
hasn't he?
And in the middle of last year, things weren't probably going great for him at Honda at the time. Do you know, like was after TT,
Results
he
don't
wasn't
come.
super
Yeah, no,
fast.
yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
At the end of the year, he was fantastic. So he goes, Andrew, before Thurston, he goes, I know. I was like, what, Glenn? What, man?
Where are we
mysterious
going,
thing?
Glenn? Get in
And
the
he
car.
goes, send me a message. We're going for Cambo Monday. I was like, right, Glenn. Right.
Yeah.
I done no research on it whatsoever, like absolutely none. And do you know what? The more people you talk to actually know what it is now. So it's like
I literally don't, so please.
it's not to go into. We could be going into detail forever. So anyway, he goes, "We're going from on Monday." So as the story continues, you'll know what it is. So I arrive in the place called Beaver Park in Belfast, which is a housing estate in Belfast, which is probably the biggest housing estate in Belfast, and it's definitely not. It's not a bad area or anything,
So
but
it's
it's
not
not
a
the
rough
poshest
area,
area. But we arrive and knock the door, and this guy comes. His name's Ryan Cardwell, or Ryan Caldwell.
guy.
It really the most hippie, not hippie. It's like long hair, covered in tattoos, 6'6", makes you look small.
Chill, dude.
Chill,
Yeah.
super chill. Like,
Does he talk
the
chill?
most calm, fantastic guy.
Yeah.
I have loads of time for him. I think he's helped me to revive my career. And so anyway, knock the door, gives you this big hug, welcome.
Hug.
But it's just a
Oh my God, yeah.
it's a second floor flat, and arrive in. There's this really bloody hairy cat, pregnant woman on the sofa,
Hang on, what's
I'm
a really
saying
hairy
thinking-
cat look like?
like hairier, long hair,
Oh.
hairier than normal, and pregnant woman on the sofa, which is his partner, and he's like, "Take your shoes off, welcome." I'm like, right, okay. So then two bedrooms. So the second bedroom, it has pretty much nothing in it, but like a bit like a gym mat against one wall, a gym mat here. He has like this like kind of hippie style seat in the middle,
Loads of frogs.
and like big sign stuff.
What's the
Cool.
sign say?
And 2 buckets, right?
What's the sign say though?
No,
You need to remember the sign.
It doesn't say the sign.
Oh.
It's a picture.
Oh,
not a sign.
okay, yeah.
So down I sit, really, really
Are
nervous.
you in gym clothes at this point?
I had the fast before I went,
okay.
so I hadn't fasted. I did train, I think, that morning. Don't know if I had a shower or not. Probably not. So probably yes in gym
So you
clothes
smelt funny
with
as
a
well.
blanket.
Yeah.
And do you know sage? Burning sage.
Yeah,
Like
okay,
even
yeah.
now I can
Yeah.
smell sage all the time. So in I go. Or me and Glenn go. Me and Glenn do everything together. We're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
we're
I
just
bet.
that.
Like Taron and Taylor. Taron said him and Taylor are the same.
We
we're the
just
same,
do
yeah.
everything together.
Yeah.
Like we are genuinely best friends. Like at times, like we'll maybe have a
You'll be your
period of a
brothers,
few weeks
yeah.
if we don't talk to each other for as much, and then we have a time where we absolutely talk to each other all the time. Just life in it, busy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we sit down. He burns. So this guy, the fast forward a wee bit. He's like, "Oh, what are you here for? Whatever, blah blah blah. I'm here because of this. I want to let go of this." And he goes, "Right, we're just going to do a bit of happy." So happy's like this. I put my hands up and never sniffed anything up my nose in my life. And either's Glenn.
Neither, yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell?
What is this?
What the frig?
Yeah.
So happy is like, it's pretty much like smoking a cigarette, like a really strong cigarette.
But nicotine, yeah, obviously
with
nicotine.
and it's like he has this thing and he blows into this here, it's like this, and then it shoots like here, so he goes up to you like this and goes,
Yeah.
and it blows up your nose. My head was on fire. I was like, what the hell? I freaked out a little
Yeah.
bit. Glenn's looking at me in absolute stitches.
Yeah, because he knows
how
what's going
innocent
on,
I am.
yeah.
And he kind of knew what like I'd done no research on it. And then he goes and does the other nostril. And he gives you the nicotine to like chill you out, give you a calm down, a little bit of like a nicotine rush. It just sort of relaxes you. You breathe through it. And I've done it numerous times since. And the next thing he brings out, like,
does it get any easier?
A match. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No, your brain still goes whoa, like really, really hot.
Yeah.
So then, like, I have some little marks on my arms from it, and he burns you, like here, like 6 times. Depends how many times you get it.
Sounds like a torturing bondage session.
He burns you, and then his combo is like, I don't know exactly. Someone's probably gonna say I'm so wrong, but it's like comes in this wooden stick, and he gets a knife and he scrapes it and he puts it into like 6 balls. Like 6 little balls of this stuff.
I'm really open.
And
I don't know, but yeah.
on the burn, he puts each ball. So he puts this ball onto your skin. No, sorry. The what combo is like, it's like, do you know, like whenever a frog moves, it leaves like a scum behind, not a scum.
Yeah.
What's that called?
Like slime.
Like
Like,
slime.
like
I
a
think
trace,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
So like in the Amazon rainforest, they like collect it and they use it as a medicine. Do you know, like the help cure? So I had like say a bit of trauma, a bit of like, I needed to get over. So I went and done that, so he puts his stuff on, and you are so sick. Like literally, that's why the buckets were there. You're so
What, like literally vomiting straight away?
Yeah.
What? So you just literally feel it building up?
Yeah.
Like you go hot over a flush?
You go like blue. Like literally, your veins go blue. You see it go through.
And
It's
this is
crazy.
normal. Don't worry.
Yeah, it says.
Are you worried at this point though? I'd be shitting myself. Yeah.
And Glenn, but Glenn's also doing the exact same thing, and I'm like,
You're both in there blue, like looking at each other.
What it is? You want to be
so
so successful so much,
Yeah.
you would do absolutely anything.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I'll draw a
as a
line.
racer.
I'll draw a line at the bum.
Yeah, I'll do absolutely anything. You do anything for it. So
Yeah.
in your head, it's like, I'm gonna be fast because of this. And
Yeah.
do you know what? So I done that, and I went pretty much for the next like 6 rounds. I went every time before, and I don't know if you remember. Like don't even think I got points in some races at Not Kill.
No, yeah, you didn't.
Brands, I was pretty flat. Thruxton, I qualified in the front row, was a bit unlucky. The bike broke down in the start on the outlap of the first race.
Fast forward to Brands, and then the rounds before.
Like the last 4 rounds, I was really competitive. I was on the podium at Donington, was on the podium twice at Brands. Led the race. I was good.
Yeah.
Was fast there, and that was all. I think honestly, found the combo.
And even if nothing of that helps you, even mentally,
in my head,
it makes you
made
better.
a difference.
So it makes a difference. If somebody said to you, like the Whoop Band or doing this push up or this stretch or this, that, if you do that and have a good round, you can't emphasize anymore to a racer that you will literally do that until the cows come home. For the rest of your career, Frogman is literally there like, he's in. He's my client now.
And it's so
He's
stupid.
signed up.
Even like the other day, like say Glenn had a really good Silverstone, and I'll do whatever Glenn does. Do you know, like I'd do anything if it's working for him.
Yeah.
In my head, it'll work for me too.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'll do anything.
What did he do
be
before
there.
Silverstone? Are you allowed to reveal that on this podcast?
No, not really. No. Nothing daft, but just
No.
it's even like
I'll let him tell us.
on a Wednesday or Thursday of this week. I think it was Wednesday because we raced on Monday because of May Day, bank holiday.
Yeah.
So on Wednesday we went and played table tennis. I was 8-4 down. We played for 1 hour. Literally set a timer. When the timer goes off, we've got one more game. 8-4 down. I was like, my head fell off before the weekend. This is a disaster.
Yeah.
And I brought it back to 10-10.
So he's like, best
And
weekend
I was
ever.
like, I just said, no, I was like, Glenn, I was playing table tennis there thinking, my weekend's ruined before I even go. And yeah, so it ended up being 10-10. So I think Glenn probably left in a weaker note than I did because I'd done a better job in the last half than he had in the first half.
That's so funny.
And so like, absolutely anything to win.
That is literally motorbike racing. That is what it's probably
so
most sport.
psychological.
It's probably most sport, isn't it? Philip actually says 70% in the brain, and you're probably not wrong, is it? Because like I'm quite good at overcoming adversities and quite overcoming shit. Like if something's going wrong, I'm normally kind of can switch it off and start again.
You always switch off by the third race because if every
third
race is the
always
third race,
good.
you're fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to a guy out here, Mark
That's what I was
McKeever,
gutted about
out in the
Silverstone
team.
crashing. I was going to have a right good third race.
McKeever on the Sunday morning, he goes, Danny will be on the podium in the third race, and I was literally just thinking the same.
I was fuming because I was like, mate, P8, I'll take P8. I've got a bit of a gap in front, a bit of a gap behind. And then obviously I crashed and I was like, bollocks, I was definitely going to, because Danny Kemp was up the front and I was ahead of him.
Yeah.
And then in the first race, he was just ahead of me, ahead of you, and you was ahead.
Yeah.
And I was like, third race, man, I'd have been there. But it is mad. But racing in general, isn't it? Like,
It is, it's crazy.
but do you not find the older you get, the more you believe in yourself? Like, I find the older I get, the more I trust my process and I just let things go. And I'm like, that's probably why I'm most gutted about this season at the minute, because I had such a good off season with stuff that I've never done before, that I've done religiously. And then I come to round one. My biggest weakness was qualifying. Went to round one, had a mega qualifying, qualified sixth. I was like, yes, it's worked. I can finally qualify again.
Yeah.
And then now I'm obviously sitting out round two, but it is what it is. It's racing.
And because
But-
you're older, not old, you're not old, but
30.
because you have that experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
birthday yesterday, happy birthday. I did send you a voice note.
Thank you.
Because you're older, it's like, sometimes I think, if I knew what I knew now,
I know.
5 years ago, where
Yeah,
would I be?
I know.
But
Yeah,
that's life, innit?
Right, mate, I've got on here, yeah. So we're gonna have to jump to the old we're gonna have to get another episode in with you because we've got so much to talk about still, but we ain't got time. We're just looking at 8:30. You got a timer, haven't you? I've put this little quiz together, yeah. Still haven't got a name for it. And
Buchan
I've got
quiz?
5 questions. Yeah. What's it? What do you call
Danny
it?
Buchan quiz.
Danny Buchan's quiz. Pushing the
night.
Limit podcast quiz.
Danny Buchan sounds better, I think.
We might be able to get a sponsor to sponsor the quiz. Don't know.
Hey, Danny actually has a really big space here if anyone wants to do it. I only want 20% commission.
All right, yeah, if I sell it, you get it. Right, so how many MotoGP wins has Pedrosa had?
Came second in the World Championship 3 times, didn't he? I would say wins 34.
Do you know what? I'm actually pissed off because I haven't wrote the answer down for that one. So if it's 34,
I
thanks.
don't
Do you know why I said? Do you know why I asked the
34
question?
would be a lot.
Do you know
to
why
be
I asked
honest.
the question? Because the other day they gave that stat out after FP1.
I didn't listen to it because I was traveling.
Okay, right. Anyway, so don't worry about that. We need to find. I'll get an answer on that. Who runs a number 52? In Moto2.
Aldegar.
Alcoba.
Oh, Jeremy Alcoba. I'm
Yes.
54. Aldegar
50.
is.
So that's all right.
That's bad.
What's the fastest BSB lap at Donington Park
20 qualifying or lap record?
overall? It's in whatever fastest ever from
20,
BSB bike. BSB bike.
8-5.
Perfect.
That Bradley Ray.
I don't know if that's right again. I've not got
Bradley
the
Ray,
answer
I
for that
think,
one.
did
I
a
couldn't find the
28.5.
answer for that, but I like the question.
I believe it was race 3. And
you're pretty good at this sort of thing.
And I think it was Bradley Ray.
Right,
yes.
that's cool. How many TTs has Joe
He done
Dunlop
an
won?
SE0 actually.
Oh,
26
That's
TT wins.
good
Joe
on
Dunlop. John McGuinness is second, I think, with 23.
oh, someone would think you're teammates with him. What exact speed did your brother do at the TT?
129.83.
85.
Oh my
That's close. That's really good,
I actually
actually.
didn't know that.
That's close.
I know he was very close to 130. He was like within tenths, I think, or a second or something.
Mate,
so.
that is pretty close. Right, so you did all right at that. Do you know what? I'm really angry at myself because the MotoGP wins Pedrosa. Do you know what? I swear they said 19 the other day.
Yeah,
I think I'm talking Premier
class.
class.
More, yeah. Oh,
Like,
see, no, but he probably has more than 34.
If it was total, because obviously 125s, 250s.
Two-time world champion. Three-time world champion? Did
Mate,
win
he's
250?
mad.
No,
isn't
he
it?
didn't.
The fact that he rocks up, I know he's a test rider, but like when they're testing, they're going fast. He probably has practiced qualifying runs, but mate,
he's world class.
But mate, I know, and they said in the thing, but they've got a fucking corner named after him here. This is track, isn't it? But mate, he's still.
I'm a massive fan.
Me too.
I don't know. This podcast will probably come out after, but tomorrow I genuinely believe if he's allowed to beat his teammates,
this is
if
the
he can
Jerez
beat
MotoGP.
Miller and Binder, if he's allowed to beat them, I think he could be on the podium.
I think he could win it because his pace. He's small. He doesn't take much off the tyre.
I think it is. Yeah. This weekend's the first weekend with the tyre pressure limit, and the KTM's always ran the hard tyre. It always runs the hardest front tyre.
Producer man Ben, 31 MotoGP wins, mate. That's how many he's had.
34. It wasn't far away, was it? Really?
Not bad.
30.
Cheers, Ben.
Might be 32 after this.
Yeah.
So KTM always run the hard tyre because they need a hard construction, so they'll not be running it soft, and that's why KTM's having a really good weekend. And the first weekend for F.
Last year it weren't that good for them, was it? They had the front tyre problem, didn't they?
Because now you have TP, or they have a minimum front tyre pressure. And this is the first weekend.
Well, are people running them up and down for extra? Because they said that about
Ducati have been running them really, really low. So now they have like same as we have here in BSB. You have a minimum, but I think it's for the front tire minimum, or a minimum front tire pressure, and I think that's why the KTM's have made a step.
I've actually skipped a section of my podcast, which is really bad because I'm now a shit podcaster. Track review, give it to me. Basically, I'm going to ask you some questions about your favourite track.
Yeah.
What is your favourite track? That's the first question.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Favourite track? You're probably going to say Phillip Island. Everyone says Phillip Island.
No, Bruno probably.
Oh, that's
it was
there.
Good. Yeah, I was crap at it though.
Mate, imagine going on your
probably
bike now.
Donington Park. I've made the most money out of it.
Wow, money motivate. Okay. Most memorable moment of that track? Got to be beating your brother. Sorry, I'm answering for you now, but I'm not.
The first win in 2020, first and second, two brothers, never been done before, on a bike that nobody expected to do it. Him. And I passed him in the last lap. That's bloody good.
Parked him hard, didn't you?
I stopped
he was fuming over the line, weren't he?
Yeah.
I'm glad he had a lap to calm down. Was he fuming after?
No, we stopped it just after turn one, and he says, "I could have passed you if I wanted."
Is that literally what he said? Mate, favourite part of the track? Oh no, you're gonna say
favourite part of. I like a chicane, don't I?
I would have actually said Craner because you got so much balls through the
Craner
top of Craner
so many times. That's probably
Hollywood Craner. You normally rapid through there.
Hickey's the best person at Hollywood I've ever met.
Ever?
Yeah.
He
actually went round the outside of me at Hollywood in 21, but didn't get right by me and absolutely tornadoed me in the craters. And I ended up in the grass, but I didn't bitch about it and complain. I took it like a man.
So you're saying that he did bitch about it and complain? He gave you the fingers.
Well, Thuxton, he gave me the fingers, and he definitely had to go at me.
But we say this now, but all jokes aside, outside of here, we all get on, don't we?
Yeah,
it's actually quite funny.
I have loads of respect for Peter.
We can slag everyone off in here, but we all get on with everyone.
He's actually one of the guys that talks to me. There's quite a few who don't, and he does. So I have a lot of time for him.
He had a reason to not talk to you. That was a controversial move you did on him.
What reason did he have not
you
for talking to me?
horrible,
Don't
mate.
even get me started.
That was an awful move on your behalf.
No, I'm only joking.
I know, because you had too many sponsors here on your visor. You was like Honda with the blinkers,
I was having a
horse.
moment.
You was like a horse with blinkers. All you could think about was your sponsors. You couldn't even see anything else.
Yeah.
Right, any tips for any track day riders going to Donington Park?
Tips for track day. There's a new surface.
Nice, and it's very nice.
So
it's so smooth, isn't it? It's like this table. No, genuinely, it's like literally,
it's
isn't it?
Incredible. I think the lap times whenever we go there next will be extraordinarily fast.
What do you think? Give us an estimate.
For the GP track, I think pole will be.
Oh shit, you're going pole, not even just a ballpark figure.
27.2.
Okay.
That's a big step, that 1.3 seconds. But Kyle Ryde did a 28.8 in that freezing conditions.
Miserable, weren't it?
Who was at fair play to him. That takes commitment to go through Craner to do a 28. And Josh was pretty fast. I think it was 28.8, maybe 28.2. Can't remember, but it was very fast. So I can see being, but it's sometimes cold as fast at certain tracks.
Who's been your best teammate? That's the last
I've
question
had
of the-
some
of the-
fantastic teammates over the years, Danny. But you,
We actually, it was really funny how dynamic because we
you've
didn't
been-
care,
it's
did we?
different because
Yeah.
Glenn was a good teammate because we worked together, say as brothers in a good
Yeah.
way. But I had a shitload of fun.
Yeah.
And we've always said that. I think like whenever I've never been sad leaving a team. It's a bit sad leaving Honda at 2020, but I've never been sad, say, as a teammate because we just clicked.
Well, we
And,
just
and nobody expected us to.
No.
And I think it
Yeah.
nearly wound up Philip that we got on so good because we were teammates, and he's like,
But it was funny
how can
'cause-
they like each
yeah,
other?
but we both kind of helped in the garage and just whatever happened on track happened
Yeah.
on track. It weren't nothing like there was never.
Yeah.
If you was top of the timesheets and I weren't, there wasn't no like, oh, fucking hell, he's top of the timesheets.
Yeah.
It was like we didn't care, did we?
Yeah,
We just
and we were
did-
happy for each
yeah, we
other.
just did what we did and just went
like,
out, yeah.
Even when we battled,
Yeah.
like say, we never really had many close races, but
Brands was
like
good
at Brands,
though.
we had,
Yeah,
at the end
Brands
of the
was
year,
fun.
we saved the best to the end.
Yeah.
That was a bloody good race. You know, we had
Oh,
good
mate.
battles, and we were always hard but fair on each
Yeah,
other.
that
And
was so funny,
I think
yeah.
to have a teammate that doesn't throw his dummies out
Yeah.
the pram, and I think both of us don't do that, and that was probably good. Xavi Flores was good on the bike development side. I learned a lot off him. He was very, very thorough.
And analytical, yeah.
Analytical. Good word that. You've been definitely
couldn't spell it.
podcasting. He was good.
Just got that off my phone.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've had some good teammates anyway.
Yeah, Tom Neves, good teammate
Yeah.
as well. Get on really well. Can have a bit of crack with him. John McGuinness, legend. Nathan Harrison, completely new to the whole world of having a teammate, and he just smiles 24/7.
Just like
22nd this morning, mate. Good lad.
yeah.
He's
Yeah,
a road
but
racer.
he
Not
knows-
expected to be
yeah,
winning,
yeah,
but
he's
really,
getting-
I think Nathan's actually a really interesting character. Shifts with the right hand or right
Yeah.
foot. Sorry,
I
not
saw
right
that.
hand.
I
Yeah,
saw that.
right hand
Actually in the
gear shift.
garage doing that.
Yeah, and but no, he's I think a future TT star.
Yeah. Well, mate, we're going to have to wrap this up. You've got places to be now. So we're going to have to get you back on because we've got other stuff to talk about. I can't wait to get some controversial information out of you. But thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a guest. And, mate, good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much for having me.
this
I
is
feel
the-
like
this-
we've only told half the story.
Oh, we haven't told the whole story.
But-
Well, we have Saturday. This is a Saturday at Alton Park. So this is a Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Sunday, Monday. I hope you have a good weekend. What's
Thank you.
the plan?
Tomorrow's
Box
going to piss
on the
down.
box. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what? It's very.
Or you just
it's-
open-minded. Top sixes would be great.
Do you know what? Alton's probably never been my strongest track,
Yeah.
but I'm very relaxed. I feel in a very good head zone. And you know what I'm like when I'm happy, I'm generally
Yeah,
fast. I
you've
feel
been-
good.
Been frogged up.
I might be absolutely cheesed off on Monday on the way home, but I'm open-minded. I
Yeah.
really believe that I can do a great job, and I hope I do a great job. And I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Is Ezra here?
Ezra's here. He's a tank.
He's
My
a little
son's
tank,
now 4.5 months old. So I
How
need
much
to
does he weigh now?
He got weighed before. He's massive.
What percent? What? Yeah, they have like different percentiles, don't
In
they?
weight, he's like the 93rd percentile. And I don't know if you've met Sham, my fiance, but well, you obviously have, but not many people probably
Yeah.
have because she keeps herself to herself. But she's pretty small.
He's
like,
a
she's
unit,
petite.
mate. I love
I'm
him.
definitely not that big, and he's a tank.
He's a little chunk, but he'll go up, and then he'll go out, then he'll go up, then he'll go
But
out.
you used to be fat.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Brody's
it's-
big now,
Yeah.
but they go out, and then they go up, and then they go out again, then they just keep doing this. It's so funny.
And he's not even on like solids. Like he's 4.5
Yeah.
months. It's not as if we've started like weaning him
just
really
loves
early.
his milk, does he? Yeah.
Just loves his mum's boob.
yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Just
I
like
used to
myself,
that.
really.
Yeah. Have you ever tried it?
By mistake.
No, I haven't. I tried some out of the fridge, by the way, and yeah, because there's all these bodybuilders buying it, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
I would have known, mate. I'd have been on the old nip, mate. I'd have been selling that.
It's all
I'd have been having that out the back door, mate, straight away. 50 quid a litre? Of course you would. Anyway, let's stop talking about titties. Let's get you out of here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Guys.
Cheers. Thank you.
Let's stop talking about tits.
Boom, boom. Danny Bucket. What a ride this is, and it is on.